Hey there, it's Tara, your yoga bestie, and I'm really excited because today for our class, we've finally reached the next chakra. So we're going into the third eye or the Ajna chakra, which is in between the eyebrows, but more about that in a moment. How about we start out any way we like? And we are not using any props today in particular. If you know me, you know I love to have two blocks. So if that's available to you, great. If not, no worries. So start out reclined, seated, child's pose, whatever feels best to you today. And as you set yourself up in that space, just determine where you want your arms and legs to be. And then once you've found your spot, maybe wiggle a little bit, settle into that space, and then close the eyes as we start to tap into our Ujjayi breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Taking this time to connect with our breath, it'll be our energy source throughout our practice. So as we inhale, feeling the space right below the navel start to lift. As it draws upward, we'll feel an expansion through the belly, the side bodies, the rib cage, and that breath draws all the way up to where it lifts the collarbones. And then on our exhalation, we'll feel our belly button draw in towards the spine, allowing us to use all three parts of the lungs. Our Ujjayi breath is an audible breath, so you can hear a snoring-like sound in the back of the throat, kind of like you're fogging up a mirror with your nose, or Darth Vader, or you're the ocean. There's a lot of different things that are said, but the point is it's audible, so you want to make sure you're hearing your breath. And once you get into that connection with the breath, let's inhale to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just continuing with that rhythm, knowing that you can always add or subtract any of those counts. But I'll continue talking about the sixth chakra while you are settling in and checking in with your breath. So the sixth chakra, I already said, is in between the eyebrows. It's our Ajna chakra, or the third eye. It's responsible for things like insight, intuition, clarity, imagination, and inner wisdom. And Lionel has a very intuitive sixth chakra because he knew that I would pet him as soon as he came over to me. It's connected to our pineal gland, our vision and perception. When we think about our third eye, or our sixth chakra, we often talk about a drishti, or a focal point, which is really great for balancing poses, which we'll be having quite a few of today in our practice. So we'll want to be able to find a focal point or drishti to help us remain balanced, to help us find that focus. And if you're ADD like me, it's really helpful to have a drishti and have a focus in our practice so that we can take that with us once we're off the mat. Also, it is associated with the color indigo, so you might envision an indigo light coming from this area of the body. And the affirmation that I'm offering up that goes along with our third eye chakra, or our sixth chakra, is: my thoughts create my reality. I choose them with care. That's: my thoughts create my reality. I choose them with care. And I can't even emphasize how true that is. So we can't control the thought we have, but we can control the way that we approach it. So we can either listen to that thought, and if it's a habitual one, no matter what it is, it becomes true. So I want to invite you to flip the switch if you're having habitual thoughts that are things that you don't want. Because when we do that, it's like worrying about something, but we're worrying about something that we don't want, so that's what we get. Words really matter, and what we tell ourselves on a regular basis really matter. So see if you can allow yourself to completely turn it around and make it a different situation that benefits you. Because I promise you, the more that you say those positive things to yourself, those things that you truly want, even if they're not true yet, they become true. All right. On our next inhale, let's get a nice full body stretch, or find any movement in the space that you've chosen to start your practice in today. And then either from our reclined space or from an upright seated position, we'll all bring our hands together at our heart center in our Anjali Mudra as we set our intention for our practice. Maybe utilizing that affirmation of my thoughts create my reality. I choose them with care, or whatever else speaks to you today. Please honor that. And then when you're ready, start to open up the eyes. We're gonna make our way into a tabletop position. And as we come into that space, maybe finding a little bit of movement here, like some cat-cow movement or some lateral movement from side to side, just kind of seeing how your body's doing today. But we're gonna make our way onto our bellies. So as we come onto our bellies, we're gonna stack arm on top of arm, and then we're gonna place our forehead or our third eye onto that top hand. And as we come into this space, really check in with your breath. So inhale, feeling the belly expand, the side bodies expand. Exhale, feel the belly button draw in towards the spine. I love really focusing on the breath on our bellies because it's so much easier to do so and you can really feel the side bodies expand. So really get in tune with that. And then we're going to activate the legs. And all that means is we're pushing into the tops of the feet. So we're pushing into our toenails, which means the feet are on the mat, to lift up those knees. From here, we're going to do really small movements that have a lot of feeling to them. So working our core from our back body. So as we inhale, the belly moves in the mat and we lift up the torso to a hover. And as we exhale, we lower. And just start to move with the pace of your breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Next time you lift it up, hold it here, but don't hold the breath. So you're going to notice the rise and fall of the belly. So you'll lift and lower here a little bit. Big breath in. And then as we exhale, release that, let go of the legs, maybe shake the hips out a little bit, just kind of letting that go in the lower back. And then we'll bring our hands underneath our shoulders, coming into a tabletop position. We'll tuck our toes under. This is just our transition into bringing our torso upright for half camel. So right hand will come either to the small of the back, or maybe we have space to reach for that heel. As we reach up through the left fingertips, working those hips forwards. So from the waist down, you really want to push forward here. Gaze can be up or can it be past your right shoulder here. Inhale. Exhale. And then we switch it out. Left hand to the small of the back or to our heel as we reach up through those right fingertips for our half camel. Really pushing those hips forward. Exhale. And then bring your gaze straight ahead. We'll step the right foot forward, coming into our arrow lunge. So we're going to pick up the back knee, or we can leave it down. But it's like we're in crescent pose with our 45-degree angle here. So arms could be forward, they could be behind you, they could be on the waist, they could be a heart center. You going to play the ocean drum this morning, buddy? What are you doing? All right. We'll take a big breath in here. Exhale, and then we're moving into our warrior three. You can always have a supported version with hands on blocks or onto the mat, or maybe you go right into your variation where the torso is lifted. So any arm variation that feels good to you right now. Try to lift up that right quad muscle as you shift your weight forward towards the ball of that right foot. Inhale. And then as we exhale, we're moving into tree pose. So left foot comes to the inside of the right leg, anywhere from at the base to all the way up. And once you have your legs set up, go ahead and bring those hands to heart center. Maybe you reach the arms up overhead, coming into your tree pose as you find that focal point or drishti, working those shoulders down. Exhale, hands come together at heart center, and we come into reverse eagle. So left knee comes behind the right. You can always have that foot down, or you squat it down as much as you can go. Maybe your hands are on the mat. Maybe they're at heart center. Exhale, step it back for your runner's lunge. So we're going to start to shift forward and back. I like to have my blocks to each side of my foot as I start to open up here. Saying hello to the backs of the legs. Feel free to move at your pace. Linger anywhere. Nice. And the next time that we come forward, go ahead and bring the left hand down, right arm up as we come into a runner's twist, stacking shoulder on top of shoulder. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, gaze towards that right foot. We're coming into wild thing. So we'll bring that foot behind us as we come onto the ball of the foot, lifting up those hips. Can always also bring that left knee down and extend through the right leg. Maybe even bring that foot down for a variation that might be more accessible today. I was going to say this morning, it's this morning for me. But if you're in that wild thing, maybe you start to make some circles with the arm, bend and straighten the legs. Inhale, we reach it up. Exhale, gaze towards the front of the mat. We'll step that right foot forward and we're going to sit into the right leg as we face the long edge for Skandasana, or our side lunge. And we'll start to move from side to side here, just kind of opening up. You determine how high or low it is. You also determine where you want your hand placement. It might be at heart center. Next time we're at the back, can hold it here, and then we'll face the back, coming into our runner's lunge, where we'll plant our palms, finding our plank or push-up position. As we exhale, we'll slowly lower with muscle. We can come all the way onto the belly, or we can hover. Inhaling into your cobra, or maybe up dog if you're ready. Exhaling into your down dog. And just kind of finding a little bit of space here in your first down dog, maybe pedaling out the legs, moving the head from side to side. Inhale. Exhale. And then let's shift it forward, plank pose. We lower slowly all the way onto our bellies. And we're setting up for that locust pose is what it's called, where we stack arm on top of arm, and then we'll place our third eye on that top hand. Checking in with the breath. Pushing into the tops of the feet as we lift up those knees to activate the legs. And then we inhale, lifting to a hover. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, lower. We'll release, bring those hands underneath the shoulders, tucking our toes under as we sit it back, and then lift up, setting up for our half camel. So this time, left hand is at the small of the back, or our heel as the right arm reaches up. And then we'll switch it out. Left arm up, right arm down, finding your version. We gaze to the back of our mat, and then we step the left foot forward, coming into arrow lunge. So option to keep your knee down or lift it up, and find your arm variation. Try not to grip the mat with those left toes. Inhale. Exhale. And then we move into warrior three. So you probably saw I brought my blocks to the back. So if you wanted to set up that way, or with your hands on the mat, or lifting up that torso as you work your weight forward, lifting up that left quad muscle. Big breath in. As we exhale, we'll release, coming into our tree pose. Right foot comes anywhere along that left leg. And once the legs are set up, hands can come to heart. Arms might reach up as we find our focal point, our drishti. Inhale. Exhale, hands come to heart center, and we come into our version of reverse eagle. So you know you can always bring your hands down. You can always have that foot down. Squat it down. Inhale. Exhale, step it back for runner's lunge. And we're going to start to shift forward and back. So if you like to have those blocks or props along the side of the foot, feel free to bring it as we kind of check in with this side of the body. Next time that we shift it forward, hold it here for our runner's twist. So right hand is down, left arm reaches up as we stack shoulder on top of shoulder. Inhale. Exhale, gaze down. We're moving into our wild thing. Or we come into that variation where we have our knee down and extend through the leg. If we're in wild thing, we can start to create some movement here if that feels good in the body. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, gaze to the back of your mat. Step that left foot to the back and then sit into Skandasana as you face that long edge. Start to move from side to side here. And then the next time you're at the front of the mat, face forward, stepping back into your plank or push-up position. We'll lower it with muscle. Inhaling into your cobra or up dog and exhaling down dog. Full breath in. Exhale. Bend the knees, gaze forward as we step or float. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. Exhale into our forward fold. Let's reverse swan dive all the way up, reaching up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthening. Hands plant as we step or float back. Lowering or hovering. Inhaling cobra or up dog. Exhaling down dog. Big breath in. Exhale, soften the knees, gaze forward as you step or float to the top. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse, reach it up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Hands plant, make your way to down dog so you can always skip this vinyasa portion. Big breath in. Exhale, softening the knees, we gaze forward as we step or float. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse, reach it up, reach it back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale. Exhale, make it to your down dog, however you like, or any resting position of choice, because that concludes our warm-up. Nice work. So great time to check in with your breath, get a drink of water, towel off, whatever it is that you need. Maybe just find a few moments to be still as you close your eyes and check in with the breath. We're going to be moving into our first main sequence of the practice. If you're new to my class, I do 2 main sequences that pull from the warm-up a lot. The first one is called peanut butter, the second one's called jelly. And each one we do a little bit slower at the beginning, and then we repeat a couple times more at breath pace. And then we bring them together at the end for one long sequence, which makes for a delicious peanut butter and jelly sequence sandwich. And that's my favorite part. So today, peanut butter starts out in down dog. And as you make your way there, I want you to check in with that affirmation. My thoughts create my reality. I choose them with care. My thoughts create my reality. I choose them with care. All right, let's go. So we'll come into down dog. Lift up the right leg, open up that hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. We stay, or we can make some circles here, going in one direction, going in the other direction. Inhale, we extend. Exhale, knee draws the nose. Bring that foot all the way through for warrior 3. Lifting up that right quad muscle. Shift it forward as you flex through that left foot like you're placing a big footprint behind you. Inhale. Exhale, move into your tree pose. So bringing that left foot to the inside of the right, finding your arm variation and your focal point. Big breath in. Exhale, hands come to heart center as we come into reverse eagle, bringing that left knee behind, squatting it down. Inhale. Exhale, step that foot back, runner's twist. Left hand is down, right arm reaches up. Stacking shoulder on top of shoulder. And then we're moving into our wilding or the modified variation, bringing the right foot behind us, lifting up those hips. Inhale. Exhale, step the right foot forward and sit into that right leg as you face the long edge of the mat, Skandasana. And then we move to the back. We face the back. And we make our way to our down dog from here. That's our first side. Left leg lifts. Open up the hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. Stay or start to make those circles. In both directions. Inhale, extend that leg. Exhale, knee draws to nose as we bring it all the way through. Warrior 3. Bringing that weight forward towards the ball of the foot as we flex that right foot. Inhale. On our exhale, moving into our tree pose. So finding that space to the inside of our left leg or at our foot, and then growing that tree. Inhaling. Exhale, hands come to heart center, and we come into that reverse eagle, bringing the right knee behind as we squat it down. Go ahead and step it back, runner's twist, right hand down, left arm reaches up. To wild thing, left foot comes behind as we open up those hips. And then gaze to the back of the mat. Step that left foot there as you sit into it, Skandasana. And then we shift forward, face forward, making our way to our down dog, however you like. All right, we'll pick up the pace. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, we bring it through. Inhale, warrior three. Exhale, we move into our tree pose. Inhale, we grow. Exhale, reverse eagle. Step it back, we inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, gaze towards that right foot. Inhale, wild thing. Exhale, step that right foot forward, Skandasana. We shift it to the back. We face the back, and we make our way to our down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, we bring it through. Warrior three on our inhale. Exhale's moving us into tree pose. Inhale, we grow. Exhale, moving into our reverse eagle. Inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, gaze down. Inhale, coming into our wild thing. Exhale, step that foot to the back as we sit into Skandasana. We shift forward, and then we face forward as we make our way to down dog. All right, inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, we bring it through. Inhale, warrior three. Exhale, moving into tree. Inhale, we grow. Exhale, reverse eagle. Inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, gaze down. Inhale, wild thing. Exhale, step it forward as you sit into Skandasana. And then shift it to the back. Face the back to down dog. Almost there. Left leg lifts. Bring it through. Warrior three. Moving to our tree pose. Inhale, we grow it. Exhale, reverse eagle. Inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, gaze down. Inhale, wild thing. Exhale, step it to the back, Skandasana. And then we shift it forward. We face forward as we move it to our down dog. All right, nice work. How you doing? That's our peanut butter. All right, so peanut butter check. So check in with the breath. So maybe slow it down. Take a moment just to check in with yourself before we move into our jelly portion. And jelly starts out on our belly. That joke hasn't gotten old yet, at least. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. I love rhymes, so all good. But let's go ahead and make our way onto our bellies. And as we do, checking in with our affirmation, my thoughts create my reality. I choose them with care. Again, that's my thoughts create my reality. I choose them with care. So just like our warm-up, arm on top of arm as it lines up with the top of the mat. Forehead is on, or forehead or third eye is on that top hand or arm. And we activate the legs as we inhale, lifting up to a hover. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then hands come underneath shoulders as we push back, setting up for our half camel pose. Left arm up, right arm down. And then right arm up, left arm down. We gaze forward. We step the right foot forward as we come into our arrow lunge. Trying not to squeeze the toes. So we want to feel that activation by pushing into the ball mound of the foot. From here, we're straightening the legs. We're facing the long edge of the mat as arms reach up, and then left toes face the back, arms extend as we reach to the back, setting up for triangle pose. So stacking shoulder on top of shoulder, leaning back. Might have a block here to the back so you can really sit back into it as you push into the block, reaching those fingertips up towards the ceiling. Inhale. And then as we exhale, we move into our pyramid pose. So you can hop this back foot in, maybe taking your thumb into that left hip crease as you draw it back, and then letting your head relax here. Option to stay in your pyramid pose. Another option might be to come into your standing splits. Or if you're feeling playful, we'll see. I'm not usually playful this early. But it's fun. I really there's this little variation from our pyramid pose where we bend the back knee, keeping the left leg straight, and then we shift forward and we take a little hop. Bend the back knee, shift forward, little hop. And sometimes you get some air time. It's like, I like to compare it to having handstand hops with some training wheels, because it feels like, I don't know, that little momentum with that swing works really, really well. So give it a try. We meet in forward fold at the back of our mat, and that's what we've got for jelly. So let's roll it up. Arms reach up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step it back into our plank, and we lower all the way onto our bellies as we set up for our second side. So stack those arms. Third eye on the top arm. Activate the legs, and we inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then hands come underneath the shoulders as we push it back, setting up for half camel. Right arm up, left arm down. And then left arm up, right arm down. Gaze to the back. Step the left foot forward as you come into your arrow lunge, whatever arm variation that you like. Making sure not to grip the mat with those toes. Inhale. Exhale. Straighten the legs. Arms reach up overhead as we face that long edge of the mat. And then right toes face forward as we set up for our triangle pose. Right arm down, left arm up. Finding your focal point, but feeling like both side bodies are nice and long. So you want to reach up towards the ceiling. Big breath in here. As we exhale, lower that hand down as we set up for our pyramid pose. So maybe bringing that right thumb into that hip crease this time, letting your head relax. And we have the same choices as before. So stay here. This might be perfect today. Maybe you come into your standing split by lifting up that left leg. Maybe you play with some little hoppy hops, right? So you would then shift back, bending that back knee. And then we shift forward, hoppy hop. Shift it back, forward, hoppy hop. We'll see if I have any hoppy hops today. Almost. And then we'll meet in our forward fold at the top of the mat. Just let it go. Nice breath in. Exhale. And then let's roll it up. Arms reach up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant, step it back into your plank pose, lowering all the way onto the belly as we set up for that locust. As we inhale, we lift to a hover. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Hands underneath shoulders as we push it back. Half camel, left arm is up, right arm down. And then we switch it out. Gaze forward as you step the right foot forward for arrow lunge. And then we straighten those legs, face the long edge as we set up for triangle at the back. Inhale. Exhale, bring that hand down, coming into our pyramid pose, our standing split, or maybe we play with a hoppy hop. Whatever works for you today. And we'll meet in our forward fold. Let's roll up. Arms reach up and back. Exhale, forward. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step it back to plank, lowering all the way onto our bellies. Setting up for locust, we inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Hands underneath the shoulders, tucking those toes under as we set up for our half camel. Right arm up, left arm down. And then left arm up, right arm down. Gaze to the back. Step the left foot forward. Arrow lunge. We straighten those legs, setting up for triangle pose towards the front of the mat. As we bring the right arm down, left arm up. Lean it back. Left hand lowers as we come into our pyramid or whatever version we've chosen to do today. And we find our forward fold. All right, almost there. Let's roll it up. Arms reach up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Hands plant as we step it back, lowering all the way onto our bellies. Stacking our forehead onto our arms, we inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Hands underneath the shoulders, pushing it back, half camel. Left arm up, right arm down. And then right arm up, left arm down. Gaze forward, arrow lunge. We straighten for triangle pose to the back. Making our way to our pyramid or whatever version that we like, to our forward fold. Let's roll it up. Arms reach up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step it back to plank. We lower it to our bellies. Inhale, we lift that hover. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Hands underneath shoulders. Push it back for that half camel. Right arm up, left arm down. And then left arm up, right arm down. Gaze to the back. Left foot forward for arrow. And we straighten, coming into our triangle pose towards the front. Left hand comes down, pyramid pose, or whatever else, to our forward fold. How are we doing? Guess what? You've made it to my favorite part of the practice. It's peanut butter and jelly time, which means we're gonna do these one last time all together in one final flow. You've got this, I promise. So give yourself your pep talk. Remember, we're only thinking those good thoughts already. Put a big smile on your face, and let's meet in down dog. As we come into down dog, my thoughts create my reality. I choose them with care. My thoughts create my reality. I choose them with care. All right, let's go. Right leg lifts. We bring it through for warrior 3. Moving into our tree pose. Inhale. Exhale, reverse eagle. Inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, we gaze down. Inhale, wild thing. Exhale, skandasana. We shift it to the back. We face the back. And then we step into plank pose as we lower all the way onto our bellies, setting up for locust. Inhale, we hover. Exhale, lower. Inhale, hover. Exhale, lower. Inhale, hover. Exhale, lower. And then hands come underneath as we set up for our half camel. Right arm up, left arm down. Left arm up, right arm down. We gaze to the back, step the left foot forward, arrow lunge. And then we straighten, setting up for triangle pose towards the front, where right arm is down, left arm reaches up. And then we lower that down, setting up for our pyramid pose or whatever else we may have chosen. We then meet in our forward fold, which means the first side is done. All right, let's do this. We'll meet in mountain. Arms reach up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. We make our way to down dog. So if you want to take a vinyasa, cool. If you don't, that's also so cool. Let's go. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bring it through. Inhale into your warrior three. Exhale, we move into our tree pose. And we inhale as we grow that tree. Exhale, hands come to heart as we come into that reverse eagle. And then inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, gaze down. Inhale, wild thing. Exhale, step it forward, sit into it, skandasana, so you're facing the other direction. And then we shift to the back. We face the back, plank pose, lowering all the way onto the belly. Setting up for that locust. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then hands underneath the shoulders as we push it back for our half camel. This time, left arm is up, right arm down. And then right arm up, left arm down. Gaze to the back, right foot steps forward, arrow lunge. We straighten those legs, triangle towards the front, left arm down, right arm up as we lean it back. And then right hand comes down as we set up for pyramid pose or whatever other thing you might have chosen to do here. And then feet come together at the top because you just did it. Nice work. Make your way to down dog if you want to. If you're like, lady, I'm sitting on the floor, go ahead and sit on the floor. And maybe you have props to one long edge of the mat so that they're nice and accessible for you. We will make our way onto our backs and just kind of windshield wiper the legs from side to side, letting go of anything that you might be holding on to. Feel free to add any final poses if you choose to add those, or if your body's craving them, please make sure that you get them in. Otherwise, we're just going to make our way into our Shavasana from here. So our final relaxation where we can extend our legs out in a wide stance, bring the arms down by our sides. And as you make your way into this space, please take up space on your mat. Our practice is a reflection of our lives off the mat. So the idea is that if we take up space here, we take up space once we go out into the world. And as you come into this final pose, take a moment to have so much gratitude for showing up to your mat today. So much gratitude for all the hard work that you just put in. And so much gratitude for this feeling that you created through those things. And be so proud of yourself because you did amazing. You are so amazing. Be proud of the others that join you in this class virtually. And know I'm so proud of you. I know how hard it is to make time for yourself and to practice, but you made it happen. So now just let your breath be soft. Let your body be still. Shavasana. As always, feel free to stay in this pose of rest as long as you need. If you're ready, we'll start to deepen our breath. Inviting small movements like wiggling the fingertips and the toes, And then we'll reach our arms up overhead, getting a nice full body stretch as we awaken to this new body. And then bringing the knees into your chest, give them a nice big hug as you roll to your side in your fetal-like pose, our pose for new beginnings. My thoughts create my reality. I choose them with care. Take this feeling with you as you leave the mat. That is when our true yoga begins. We'll meet in a seated position of choice. Hands will come to heart center, our Anjali Mudra, as we tuck our chin under. And I just want to thank you so very much for taking this time out for you, for allowing me to be your guide. It's such an honor and a privilege. And until next time, namaste. Thank you.